episode number 3 of the Opinion 2.0. My name is Miki. To the left of my table is your co-host,
Yaas.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us today. As I said in episode 2, we're doing this episode from a different location, which is Vibes. Unfortunately today, we don't have a cameraman, so we're doing this all by ourselves.
I like grapes.
I like grapes. Yeah. Shout out to Yaas's father-in-law. Main man. Appreciate it. So yeah, what are we talking about today?
I'm chewing on this mic the whole time. Sorry for that, guys. So today we're going to focus on masculinity.
Yeah.
A little bit of masculinity. Also solitude and the importance of solitude as a man.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right? Because people don't really take that into account. People don't really think that it's important. People don't actually even know that they need to take time out to focus on themselves and reflect and just to be better at whatever you're doing in your life, whether you're graphing every day, whether you just living your life and whatever. It's very important to take time out of your day and have that solitude and reflect and just to be better as a man in this day and age.
100%. So I think the first thing that comes to mind when you think masculinity is people think of toxic masculinity, right? So what is toxic masculinity? From what I researched, what a fright now for your cat. Toxic masculinity is simply where a man overexerts his masculinity to a point where he suppresses others. Now, this is very common in today's society, especially with the way the Western world moves. All female empowerment and so on, and all these things, and we're not trashing all those movements. And I think that it's important to know that toxic masculinity in itself has been the more common label for masculinity these days. And how do we separate the two? I think it's important to realize that being masculine in today's age, any masculine action will be considered to be toxic. Because there's been a lack of masculinity in the world. I mean, there's studies that speak of this, right? If you go to school.
If you are doing what you said in the last episode, staying in school, doing your schoolwork and not doing drugs, you behave in a masculine manner, you will be called out, basically.
100%. Going to school, let's look at the logistics here, right? When I was in school, not too long ago, because I'm quite young, no gray hairs here. Taking shots. I think majority, if not 70% to 90% of my educators were female. And I think that speaks to the fact that, I personally, I've only got a father, I don't have brothers. I'm the only son. And
you said I don't have a mother.
No, I've got a mom and two sisters.
You imagine, you don't have a mother, where you come from, bro?
I was made in the lab artificially. Wow. So I think that looking at my background, I went to a school obviously and majority of my teachers were female. And if you look at how that impacts you in the long run, education spaces where we go to for education and receiving knowledge, majority of educators are female. Majority of people that pour into you, like for instance in the business industry now, the working world is dominated by females. And also the statistic that goes that there are literally, I think it's 8 million women to every 2 million amounts of men. There's more women in the world than there's men.
Yeah, it's about 1 to 3.
Yeah, it's about a 1 to 3 ratio. And I think to be masculine right now, it's tough because especially with the woke movement, we have to be careful. And feminism itself, like I don't have a problem with it. Look, power to females. I don't have a problem with it, but I think it becomes a matter of when there is a hidden agenda, right? So, for example, women are told to embrace their femininity through feminism, but when a man embraces his masculinity, he's automatically a misogynist or he is toxically masculine. Now, speaking from my perspective, I find it extremely important to be masculine simply because it comes down to there are roles and duties that a man has to fulfill, and as a Muslim, it's important. We know this. Our religion speaks very much of roles in different sections of the.
I would say you could say roles in a relationship. However, if we're going now, for example, in accordance with the religion and our religion, specifically Islam, you can't say roles within a relationship because we're not actually supposed to be in relationships unless you are married.
Yeah, that's the relationship.
That is the relationship that we're referring to as marriage.
For life.
Yes.
Hashtag halal.
Yeah, so it's marriage in itself. So when we speak about in a relationship, but in today's, in the modern day, relationships extend beyond just marriage, obviously.
Yes.
People date and they court for years and years on end without any intention of getting married in the first place. That's a whole topic on its own.
Haram!
Haram! But
no disrespect, I know, no hate to anybody.
yeah, look, it is what it is at the moment. That's just the way times have changed, and that's the way society is right now. We can't say it's right, we can't say it's wrong. It just is what it is. So, in that in itself, so men in a relationship have a responsibility and have duties, and women in a relationship have rights over the male, over their partner. See, that opens up another can of worms.
Yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, I think in long story short, in essence, I think it just comes down to that. I'm not gonna say something that might hurt your feelings. So for the sensitive viewers, now is the time. Sensitive viewers, now is the time to read the disclaimer again. This might trigger some of you.
To the feminists out there, just know
men and women are equally separate to their roles. What does that mean? We are not the same, right? You cannot compare a woman to a man generally, right? There are certain roles that women excel at. I can't have a child on my own. I can't carry a child, rather, right? I can't do that. My wife can't pick up certain things that are heavy because my physical structure, because of me being male, genetically,
a lot of the time they can't even just reach the top cupboard.
Because of height differences, and I mean that comes down to estrogen and testosterone. So I'm not saying that women are less or men are more or anything like that, because that's the type of conversation that could consider and label you as a misogynist or toxically masculine. And for the guys watching this episode today, I think it's important for you to realize that the most important part about embracing your masculine is the following things. I need to work on one of them. Get fit. I'm not that fit right now. Get fit, right? Look after your physical health. Make sure you are respectful to everyone. Be quiet. Listen before you speak. Be polite to everyone. Be kind to everyone. Take care of what is yours. Work hard. It's important to have those traits. And I might be missing some.
There's one thing yes. That I want to add to that list, basically, is that you have to be strong in something. So you can be strong physically, or you can be strong mentally, or you can be strong emotionally and psychologically, right? You might be able to be strong in multiple of those facets, but you need to be strong in at least. Stop fucking clowning, bro. Such a fucking clown. You need to be strong in one of those aspects, right? The reason why is because you need to either be able to put up with an extreme amount of stress in your everyday life.
I like grapes.
Even me, I like grapes. You know, you need to be able to either, and if you can't, fine, be strong physically, be able to lift heavy shit. You know, that's an asset for you.
Yes.
If not, be strong psychologically. Nobody can take you for a joke because psychologically you're superior.
Yes.
Right? Or be strong emotionally. You are a rock for whoever is in your life. They know that you are that rock because you're emotionally strong.
Yes.
Right? So if you can't have a little bit of all of them, have one of them and focus on that one because that is your strength.
Yes.
Right? And it's important for you to know what your strengths are in order for you to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah. That was brilliant though. No, I think I agree with everything you just said. It's important as a man, but also as humans. I think, let's level the playing field here. As humans, we all have to create some sort of resource, right? Men have responsibilities, women have responsibilities, people who have other identifiers, whatever the identifiers, we all have responsibilities
things
as human beings, right? Humans have responsibilities, right? But also they have things that they're good at. Now, what that means is be true to your nature of wanting to be the best possible version of yourself. Now, like I said, for me, right, I think, in my opinion, it's important to tick all the boxes. Now, when I say tick the boxes, I don't mean be equal. I'm not saying be equally strong, equally tall. Some of these things you can't control. Some people just aren't physically strong, no matter how much muscle they have. Some people just can't be tall. Some of us are just extremely tall and irritating.
You can't be tall.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like it's stuff you can't particularly change because it's like
some things are out of your control.
Yeah, and I think you have to make do with what you got. And I think it's important that you sit and examine yourself, man. You look inside.
That's exactly where solitude comes in.
Exactly. You look inside. You have your moment of peace. Like Batman has the fortress of solitude, right? It's a place where he goes to be alone, where he thinks, where he examines, where he thinks about what he did, what he's doing, what he's going to do. And I think as human beings, we have to sit and ask ourselves, what am I good at? What am I not good at? And what do I want to be good at?
Yeah.
And that comes down to, when I say tick all the boxes, I mean, I personally have a scale. No? Box 1 is physical strength. Box 2 is mental strength. Box 3 is emotional intelligence. Box 4 is control. And box 5 is ambition, right? And I tick all those boxes because I find it important that you have to be confident, right? And I'm not saying be cocky. I'm not saying be arrogant. I'm saying you need to be able to sit and tell yourself, but wait, I am good at lifting weights. I am good at tying shoelaces. Look at what you're good at. Every human being is good at something. And I think it also comes down to thankfulness and being mindful.
Yeah.
And that all ties into solitude.
Yeah.
Solitude in itself, bro, like, it's such a deep and vast topic, but I think the most important part about solitude is to simply understand you have to have time by yourself. Every person needs a moment, whether it be the toilet, whether it be your car, whether it be your roof, wherever you go, wherever you want to be.
The thing is, like with me also, like I've discovered that the place of solitude, and it ties in with Islam again, basically, because solitude you can find every single day when you have to go and pray.
Yes.
Right? Because
exactly.
Yeah, because the thing is, like in Islam, we pray 5 times a day, or we're meant to pray 5 times a day at least, right? In that time, it's you and yourself and your Creator, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, it's look, it takes a lot to get to the level of like actually immersing yourself entirely into it. That's a whole other topic on its own. However, in that time, even if you go to the mosque to go pray in mass, or if you are just making your salah at home or praying at home, then you are in a place of tranquility, at peace, and it gives you a chance to actually reflect on everything. Until you get to the point of actually immersing yourself in your prayer and actually losing sight of everything worldly. But that's an entirely different topic that we cannot go into, because that's going to take 3-4 hours. Because there's a lot involved with that. But at least that gives you a chance within Islam. That gives you a chance to break away from the world and have that solitude, right? And it's very important, because I mean, look, 5 times a day, you take moments of solitude throughout the day for about 10 to 15 minutes, right? That's how much, that's, say, by the end of the day, you have about an hour, right? Just over an hour of solitude throughout your day. In those times, you can think about the time that has already passed during the day, the decisions that you made, and what you have done. You can reflect on those things, and then you can also think about how you can improve on the actions that you've taken, or how you dealt with something, whatever the case may be, to be better going forward. So throughout the day, you are progressing and you are developing and you're becoming better in that specific day. And at the end of the day, you will then feel a feeling of accomplishment, because you know, I did that this morning. By the afternoon, I was doing something different, better.
Exactly. And that's exactly what solitude is for. Solitude is, it's such an important part, man. It's a really important part.
I like the noise now.
Eat grapes.
I like grapes.
I like grapes. Solitude is so important simply because solitude is one of the doorways to self-improvement. Now, if you as a human being, if you're sitting there and watching this episode, and you feel stagnant, or you feel uncomfortable, or you feel weird, because we're talking about something that is outside of comfort, because solitude is the doorway to self-improvement. Self-improvement means making yourself uncomfortable. I don't like waking up at 4 a.m., but I wake up to pray every morning. I don't like waking up at 2 in the morning when my daughter is screaming at me or kicking me in the head. That's not because she's my responsibility only. My wife got it most of the time, but I get up anyway. I don't like working. I don't.
Welcome to the club.
But I work anyway. So that self-improvement means, and being the best possible version of yourself, it's not about doing what you like.
Yeah.
And that speaks again to masculinity, because there was a study done that 70%, there was a study done where they put 50 males and 50 females into a room with resources. And they gave them a few hours to build something or do something. And what happened was that by hour number, it was about 6 hours. By hour number 2, majority of the people, majority of the females, and then maybe 10% of the males quit. And when they asked the people, what's the reason you quit? I just didn't feel like doing it. I didn't want to do it. It was too much. I didn't want to, so I stopped. The men, and there was a few women as well that kept on going. They were asked, so why did you do what you did? Why did you continue the project? And all of them said this: I did it because I knew what I had at the end in mind, what I wanted. If you completed that task, they were going to pay you, obviously. So, what does that simply speak to? They did it even though they didn't want to. So, being the best possible version of yourself and channeling that energy, channeling that masculinity, is getting up, doing the shit, even though you don't want to. Not wanting to do something doesn't mean you're not going to do it. It's not about what you feel, it's about what you have to do. Right? So just get up, do the things. Do it every day consistently. And I think that, speaking about Salah in itself, right? We all know, those who are Muslim, know that Fajr is just getting earlier.
Yeah. Well, not anymore.
Okay, it's getting later now,
yeah,
but I mean, look, I'm a revert. When I became Muslim, it was winter, so Fajr was nice and late.
Yeah.
But when I got to my first summer, Fajr was somehow 3:30, 4:45 in the morning. And it's like,
it'll smack you, no?
It does get you, it catches you. And my question is this: none of us are perfect, but simply, I can say, I can count out of the month, I've probably missed majority of my Fajr in summer because I wasn't disciplined enough to get up. Since having kids, I've been disciplined. I try my best to at least make 4 out of the 5. Fajr is integral, I have to. Every morning I'm up. Even if I didn't sleep, sometimes I don't sleep at night, and I'll make Fajr and then I'll go sleep. And I think that discipline was created in me simply because my parents, forced, or rather not forced, but created a habit in me to start something and continue doing it because it made me better. Building yourself up and self-improving, like I said, all starts with solitude. You have to actually sit by yourself.
Not with your phone in your hand,
No.
scrolling through Instagram
No.
or TikTok or any
No.
of that shit. You alone, maybe a book and a pen.
Not even sometimes. I think there was, this is going to get scary now. Do yourself a favor and do a, what's that pool called? A sense deprivation sleep, which is a pool. Trust, listen to what I say.
You can't just
I'm not
people to
saying-
do that, bro.
But listen.
You don't have pools. I don't have a pool.
No, wait. It gets interesting. A sense deprivation pool simply is like, you can go to some places they do it and it's very cheap for like half an hour. It's literally just you. You're floating in a pool of water. It's dark, there's no sound, it's just you. 2 things could happen according to the studies done. Number 1, you have a fantastic breakthrough, or number 2, you come out of that and you realize what you're doing wrong in life. Because those pools are created to give you a factory reset. So medically and scientifically, it's proven to do sensory deprivation at least 4 times in your year. It will physically reset your mind. Now, when you're alone in that pool, or if it's load shedding and you don't have like UPS and all these torches and all these things, when you're alone in a dark room, what tends to happen? And you tell me, for those who know what I'm talking about, when you're up late at night and there's nothing but silence outside in the world, and it's just you and your cigarette or whatever you do, and it's just silence, what's the first thing that starts happening? You start thinking.
Overtime, bro.
And you start thinking, and you start thinking and thinking, and what ends up happening? You start going into a spiral of thoughts. Now, if you're someone like me, which I speak out of this all the time, I have a mental health disorder. My first place of thought, what if, and I got in a dark rabbit hole, and I could end up sitting thinking for a solid 2-3 hours, and then like, oh gosh, and that's how insomnia happens. So, solitude can be dangerous, but it can also be needed. I find that sitting and actually thinking about things in controlled environments helps me understand myself better. Know thyself. That's important. You know, and when you know yourself,
the thing is, like, it does really help you to discover and.
But you know how much things you don't know about yourself.
Yes.
People don't realize that. People don't know what they don't know until they know. You know.
And it's through reflection, self-reflection, and basically through solitude that you actually figure things out all the time.
Yeah.
Like for example, I was just about to jump on the point of your what ifs, right? I've went down that rabbit hole, right? And I asked myself, what if, right? It's so. Eat tak tastes lekker. So I went down the rabbit hole of what ifs, right? And I came to the conclusion that it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't.
Because all that what ifs has led me to where I am now. I have a beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
If I went along with any one of those what ifs, would I still have a beautiful daughter at this time?
I highly doubt it.
You understand what I mean?
No.
Would I have met my wife? Who would I have been with?
Yeah.
Would I even be married?
It becomes
You understand what I mean?
It becomes a whole.
And then at the end of the day, it's like, you know, and that happened while I was still lying in bed, and I just looked over at the cot and I was like, fuck all that, bro. I have a beautiful daughter laying over there.
Yeah,
it's safe. It's safe. I don't actually care. And, you know, I wouldn't have gotten to that without taking the time out and reflecting and actually, you know, sitting in silence.
Also, that's another route of solitude. It actually brings appreciation of what you've got.
100%. 100%.
And I think you've learned to channel it better than what I've channeled it. Because for me, it's always been negative.
That's the thing.
And in your case, it's always been, okay, you think about the bad, but then you also realize, and I think that's to do with age. I think one day, you know, like grapes.
You see all of this? You see all of this?
Like
this
grapes.
is wisdom. Wisdom, my guy.
What they say, the older the berry, or older the grape, the sweeter the juice. So I think the older you get, the smarter you get, the wiser you get.
Oh, now all these grapes are they're sweet as hell.
I like grapes. I like grapes. So yeah, look, I feel that it's important. This episode was yours. This was like it's extremely deep.
I like this.
Look, that's a good one.
I have a request for the guys who watch this, right? Or even for the females, you know, take time out. Take maybe
just 5 minutes, bro.
Yeah, take between 5 to 15 minutes out of your day. Put everything aside. If you want to, get a little paper and pen. Whatever thoughts come to your mind in that time, write them down. Right? Do that 3 to 5 times during the day. Then at the end of the day, read everything. Because I bet you, by the time it comes to the end of the day, you forgot what you wrote down the first time you did the 5 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Do that every single day for about 5 to 10 days. And see how your thoughts progress. And see the things and the goals that you set in those times that you actually take time out from the world to focus on yourself. See what goals you set for yourself. See what you've done to actually work towards those goals. And with that, you can start reflecting, and you can start working on becoming a better you.
The best possible version of yourself.
I think really hope.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm also gonna add in some sauce there. So Take the 5-minute to 15-minute challenge, write it down. Take 2 to 5 minutes after you wake up, right? This is when you wake up, when you go sleep. Take 2 to 5 minutes after you wake up and not look at your phone. I do that every morning. I do not check. Here's an example. You can ask, yes, you proof. When do I start talking to you? 2 hours, 3 hours after we start actually working, right? Most of the time, sometimes it's 20 minutes, but most of the time, I always sit and I ingest. What did I think about? What was I thinking about when I fell asleep? Do this task. Before you go sleep, think about something. Say your prayers, make your du'as, there's some du'as we need to say before we go sleep, which really helps. Well, it's helped me, at least. And then think about 2 things that you are grateful for, and 2 things that you are grateful that it changed you for the better. So that means 2 good things and 2 negative things. 2 positive and 2 negative things. So it's 4 things you must think about before you go sleep. When you wake up, write it down, what you remember from last night. And if you remember what you wrote down or what you thought about last night, choose to start your day based off the last thought you had. And this is something I learned from someone we can't name on YouTube because it could get us. But for the real top G's that know, for the real top G's that know, that was something I learned from that particular individual, and it helps because you know what, 70% of the time I go to sleep, and I promise you, the last thing I think about is probably my kids. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I think about my kids and my wife. I roll over to the right, there they are. Because my kids don't sleep in a cot, they're spoiled, they sleep in the bed with us. Go sleep. I've enjoyed it so far. I mean, yeah, but I'll probably
enjoyed having another bed brought into the room.
Yeah, I literally bought another bed. So my wife and myself, we've got 2 queen size beds next to each other, right? Which will come in handy. Look, we do still sleep next to each other. It's fine. My youngest daughter sleeps with me, and my eldest daughter sleeps with my wife. And it's fun because you know what? Your body changes in regards to responses. But like back to what I was saying about waking up. When I wake up, I roll over and I look, and here are the 3 people in my life that have added so much value to me, not only as a man, but also as a husband, as a father, but as a person. I feel like the moment, and this is for the people that don't have kids, I strongly encourage you, have kids.
Set the goal.
Don't
just have kids.
No, don't just have kids.
Kids.
You must think, you must plan it out, right? But set the target that you want to have kids, because there is nothing, I promise you, that's God's truth, holiest truth of truths. There is nothing more fulfilling than having kids. So take your 5 to 15 minutes, write down what you thought about, and then take that 2 to 5 minutes thinking about 2 positive things when you go to sleep and 2 negative things. Wake up the next morning and write down what you remember from last night.
It's a lot of homework.
Hey, we're just giving pro tips. Yeah, use it, don't use it, it's up to you.
If you don't want to do any of that, do one thing. Do one thing and only one thing. Eat grapes.
I like grapes. Before we go, because this episode's going to be extremely, I think this one's a bit long.
Lengthy,
yeah, I like it though. It's good. It was a good conversation. First things first, make sure to like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to our channel, turn on the notification bell, and then most also importantly, subscribe and follow every single social media platform was out.
Go to the LinkedIn and just
the link is on everything. We're on every platform.
On the list.
TikTok, Instagram. We're not on Facebook because that's old school. But we're on Twitter. We're on Rumble. And for those who obviously know what Rumble is and don't, Rumble is a platform that we do use and we will be using a little bit more than YouTube here and there, because there is a space where we can speak about things that are not as controversial to that particular social media company.
Yeah, but
the community guidelines are better. To a certain extent.
It allows more freedom.
Yes. And I think, do us that favor. Comment on the video, share it to your friends, your family, and if you do share it to your parents, tell them. We are an explicit podcast, which means we do swear. There is swearing in here. And disclaimer, read
We've
through the disclaimer.
behaved thus far.
No, we do.
We've behaved.
But today we had 5 swear words.
guys.
Episode 1 there was 2, episode 2 there was 1. So in episode 3 there may be 5 or 6.
Fine.
But do us a favor, share it to your families. And if again you want to come on the podcast or you want to share any feedback on the screen now, you will see our email address, theopinion2.0podcast@gmail.com. I've already got one. I already got feedback for episode 1. That was quite interesting, and thank you to the person out there.
If you guys just want to look, if you guys want to chat, if anybody wants to chat about like what we spoke about today, if you're maybe sitting in a bad situation or you just need some help through something, let us know.
Yeah,
we'll help where we can.
Exactly.
I'm not a qualified psychologist, but
No.
I've helped a lot of people.
Same.
So we're willing to help. We're willing to, that's what we're here for.
The two of us together have how old will we be together?
Together,
23 and
like 50
something.
55.
It's a lot of
55.
wisdom.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I've got 2 kids and he's got a kid, so they say you age every 5 years with each kid. So I'm not actually 23. I'm actually 33. And you are 30 something.
37.
So we're very close in age. We could make kids. Anyway, we digress. Thank you so much.
Top G.
That was brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope this episode was insightful. Like I said, reach out to us.
Yeah.
Subscribe, like, share,
follow, do the thing.
and don't forget, we will be releasing episodes on a weekly to bi-weekly basis. So thank you for tuning in today. From me, Miki, and my co-host,
Yaas.
We'll see you next week. Peace.
Cheers. Safe.